Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. This is my bookish week for Saturday, May 8th. Look how prepared I am today. Okay, this may be a little boring for you guys, but I didn't actually finish anything this week. I do have several books that I am currently reading, but no finishing. So, in lieu of any book reviews, I've got a small book haul that I wanted to show you. Might as well fill up my time with something, right? And again, there is no mandatory time frame. There's no mandatory video posting. But I really like the predictability of weekly videos for myself. And I love being a viewer of other people's weekly videos. And also because Sean the Book Maniac demands that my video be ready for him when he wakes up in Japan on his Sunday morning. I think that's how it works out. So Sean, I made sure there was a video available even though I finished crap. So let me show you what I'm currently reading very quickly, and then I'll show you my little book haul that I was excited about. Karen Armstrong's Islam, A Short History is a buddy read with Karen Evans and our newest member, Alba from Seriela. So the three of us are going to read Islam in the next couple of weeks and discuss it. It's so far fascinating. It's fascinating to talk about and explore a different religious faith than my own and do the inevitable contrasts and comparisons and discussion about the similarities and the differences. And this is one of my selections for Maybe Midrash. Another fictional selection for Maybe Midrash is Oscar and Lucinda by the Australian author Peter Carey. And this is a buddy read with Brian from Bookish. This is also one of Jason's favorite novels, Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse, who is one of our hosts this month. And we're gonna check in later today, I think, but I'm really enjoying this one. I'm having fun with that novel. And yes, I am still reading. I'm still reading this one. It's funny because this is an old library copy with the plastic still on it, and it's hardcovers, and it's extremely heavy. So I read this book sitting at my table with a highlighter. I found a cheap used copy in paperback, not much lighter. It's still a super heavy book. I think it's just the quality of the paper and all that. So I've stuck with this one that has all my original highlights in it. I am also still reading by audio, so listening to the Screwtape Letters from C.S. Lewis on Script. That's why I got that all mixed up. So I will probably finish that this week. I go back to work on Monday after recovering from wrist surgery. Everything went great. I'm ready to go. No restrictions. I'm going to try to milk it a little bit longer at home, though. So, and one more that I am currently reading. I found a bargain price paperback of Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall. This is the Canadian version. It is by Harper Perennial Canada. And I really like this cover art. I was reading the big hardcover that has the bright red dust jacket. And again, another book I would have to sit at the table and read. This one is much lighter, and it's a big chunky paperback, so I converted over to this one while still alternately reading it on my Kindle and taking Kindle notes. So we're continuing to do this read along. We will have finished part 5 this week, and one more part to go for next week, and then we'll be done with Wolf Hall. That's it for what I'm currently reading. So let me show you some books I recently acquired. And this first one is no surprise. This is the paperback copy of Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, the second book in the Cromwell trilogy. And again, this is the paperback Harper Perennial Canada version. So it's a matching set. That's the first one. This is the second one. And yes, I will acquire The Mirror and the Light in the same version. Not going to tell you what this is about. You probably all know already anyway, and it's a continuation. So I have some books. I have a combination of nonfiction and fiction, so I'm just going to pull it from the top of my pile. This first one is Can American Capitalism Survive? The subtitle is Why Greed is Not Good, Opportunity is Not Equal, and Fairness Won't Make Us Poor. by Stephen Pearlstein, and he is a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. This is a book on the mantra of greed is good. I don't know if anybody saw Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas's character in Wall Street many years ago. I think that movie was from the 80s. That was the punchline, greed is good, maximizing shareholder value. What our American economy has come to, compared with and combined with politics. Free market capitalism, this is all the American economic buzzwords. And one of the short sentences from the blurb says, Pearlstein chronicles our descent and challenges the theories being taught in business schools and exercised in boardrooms around the country. We're missing a key tenet of Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. Without trust and social capital, democratic capitalism cannot survive. Further, equality of incomes and opportunity need not come at the expense of economic growth. Saw that and was like, yeah, I'd love to read more information about that one. The next one is a YA novel, and I immediately was drawn to the title, and I really like the cover colors, so I looked at the description. I'm like, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And by the way, these books, there's one, with the exception of one of them, which I will tell you about when I come to it, are all Book Outlet books. So the entire shipment, I think I spent about $35, because that's what you do when you want to get free shipping from Book Outlet. So this one is from a Book Outlet haul of several books, and this is the second one. Neanderthal Opens the Door to the Universe by Preston Norton. Again, this is a YA novel, and it says, Cliff Hubbard is a huge loser, literally. His nickname at Happy Valley High School is Neanderthal, because he's so enormous, 6'6" and 250 pounds to be exact. He has nobody at school, and life in his trailer park home has gone from bad to worse ever since his older brother's suicide. He becomes central to a football player, I believe. Quarterback Aaron Zimmerman. And they form an unlikely relationship based on some ideas about God and what they do in combination to make what is it called? Happy Valley High seem less suckable. Happy Valley High. It reminds me of Sweet Valley High books, but how miserable was high school anyway? So this was, I thought this is really cute, and I like the storyline, and I love the title. And I think I've mentioned this in other videos before, but my husband, my in real life husband, is 6'8" and is close to 400 pounds. He's a pretty enormous guy. So I immediately related to this one. The next one is also a novel, but this is a novel based on a true character. It's called Learning to See by Elise Hooper. It's a novel of Dorothea Lange, the woman who revealed the real America. Dorothea Lange was an Americana photographer and news photographer. She took some incredibly iconic photographs, and this is actually a novelization of parts of her life. I'm not even gonna tell you what the book is about. It's a novel. It's set in 1918. She arrives in Bohemian San Francisco from the Northeast. She renamed herself Dorothea Lange, and she became one of the most prestigious and stylish portrait studio photographer and wife of the volatile painter Maynard Dixon. Now, I'm going to show you, I hope you can see them. In the back of this paperback, there's some examples of her photography. And one of her most iconic is this one right up in the corner. Hope you can see that. I wish the pictures were bigger, but they're not. It's referred to as Migrant Mother. It's Lange's most famous photo. This photo appears on so much media and so many news stories. Her original caption was Destitute Pea Pickers in California, Mother of 7, from 1936. And this is courtesy of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Library in New York, New York. So I think we've all seen that picture before. And I kept seeing this book in like the new arrivals on Book Outlet, and I kept, okay, that looks good. All right, that looks good. I had other things I wanted to buy, but eventually it called out to me and I picked it up. These next two are not for me, they're for my daughter, and this one is I'm Awesome, Here's Why. And it's 110 lists, activities, and prompts to remind you why you're amazing by Sarah Catherine. I don't really think I have to describe that anymore. But it's kind of a writing prompt, an art prompt, and she's creative and artsy that way, so I thought this would be a really cute gift book to give her. And this one is for her as well. Better with Books by Melissa Hart, and it's 500 diverse books to ignite empathy and encourage self-acceptance in tweens and teens. And I thought this looked really good too. It's basically a long list of books. And of course I go to a page that doesn't have books on it. And it's all different. It's a book about all different topics. It is, just for example, books about adoption and foster care, books about body image, immigration, LGBTQIA+, mental health, poverty and homelessness, race and ethnicity, with several more. So really interesting topics and suggestions for young people to read books that promote inclusion of all different types of people. The next two are from the same author. This is 3 novellas called The Diving Pool by Yoko Ogawa. Yoko Ogawa wrote The Memory Police and The Housekeeper and the Professor, which I absolutely loved. And I'm not going to even describe it. It's 3 novellas, but look at this. Look at the cover. It is so pretty. The blue with that green chair. Pretty short. And really looking forward to that. I love her writing. And Hotel Iris, which is a novel by Yoko Ogawa. Again, gorgeous cover art. I love this cover, and this is the back. And I'm not going to describe this one either. I don't even really care that much about what the description is. I just want to read it. This one is going to be, whenever I decide to pick it up, my first Iris Murdoch, and this is A Severed Head, a novel about the frightfulness and ruthlessness about being in love. Martin Lynch Gibbon believes he can possess both a beautiful wife and a delightful lover, but when his wife Antonia suddenly leaves him for her psychoanalyst, Martin is plunged into an intensive emotional re-education. Really looking forward to that. And like I said, I've never read anything by Iris Murdoch before, and looking forward to that one. This one, if you have not read The Angle of Repose by Wallace Stegner, I don't know what to say to you. If you are a fan of literary fiction, it is a gorgeous, incredible novel by Wallace Stegner set in the American Southwest. He is one of those authors who writes extremely poetically about a certain geographical location in the United States. And I already have Angle of Repose, and I've read it a couple of times. This one is A Shooting Star by Wallace Stegner. And it is the story of one woman's hard-won triumph over the irrational drives which have brought her to the crumbling edge of doom. Sabrina Castro is an attractive woman with a strong New England heritage. Like that already? She's married to a wealthy older California physician who no longer fulfills her dreams. An almost accidental misstep leads her down the slow descent of moral disintegration until there is no place for her to go but up and out. And it's a story of how she comes to terms with her life. Wallace Stegner, I own several of his novels, and I think at this point in my life I'll read whatever he had published. He's passed away a long time ago. This one, again, I'm not going to need a lot of description. It is Notes from a Black Woman's Diary, selected works of Kathleen Collins. And it's edited by Nina Loras Collins, forward by Danielle Evans. I have a couple of her short story collections. This is a collection of writings, essays, poetry, plays, dramatizations. And again, this is another one of those books that kept looking at me from the internet, and I finally acquired myself a copy. This one is fascinating, and really looking forward to this. This is first published in English in 1965. This is called The Colonizer and the Colonized by Albert Memmi. It is introduced by Jean-Paul Sartre, afterward by Susan Gilson Miller. It looks like it was originally published in 1957. It was translated and published in English in 1965, translated by Howard Greenfeld. And this is basically exactly what it says. Timeless classic explores the psychological effects of colonialism on colonized and colonizers alike. I can't talk today. So this is a topic that fascinates me, and it's a short book, and I really would love to get to this sooner or later. Maybe Nonfiction November is coming up probably a lot faster than any of us expect, and I've already got a really high pile for that month. Let's see. This one came from Thrift Books, and I went out to look for this book because in several other nonfiction books, this book was referred to. And this is George Eliot, a biography by Gordon Haight. This picture, poor George, poor Marianne. I was talking to somebody based on one of my last videos, and I made the comment to them that George Eliot and Charles Dickens were contemporaries, and Dickens called Marianne Evans and her partner and lover George Lewes the ugliest couple in London. George Eliot was not a typically traditionally attractive woman, but she did not lack for admirers, and she did not lack for a very large social circle. So I picked myself up a copy of that biography. I have several at this point. And the last one is the Screwtape Letters, the annotated edition by C.S. Lewis. This is a pretty decent hardcover. And again, all it is annotated. So it's got a bunch of notes on the sides. It's got explanatory notes based on the fact that this was published in the 40s. So many contemporary readers may not know the references and the definitions of different things and the history of the war years. So really pretty edition as well. It's a really nice cover. Yeah. So that was at a discount price, and I thought I would get myself that. That is it. That's my book haul. That's my Bookish week. Even though I'm reading a lot, didn't finish anything. Have my next book group Zoom meeting tonight, and maybe next weekend I'll show you the book that I DNF'd because it was frickin' miserable and I couldn't stand it. No real rant, but I'll show that to you next weekend. Hope you're having a good weekend and reading some good stuff, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.